is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
The mic, I burped. Episode 186, I believe. Oh, look it up. Yes, 186 of Off Panel, Off Topic. I'm Jake.
We don't even keep count. Why would you?
39 seconds, Tyler.
I don't
39
fucking
seconds.
care.
42 seconds.
I've been telling people in the last week. I've been telling a lot of people about our podcast, and I tell them what I think is hilarious is that so many people comment and say, "You guys would be so much better if you didn't sing and curse so much." And I kind of
Fuck you.
Right, and I kind of realized, and I was telling people about how we have this like kind of jokey, like, you know, generally we're not really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, how long is it going to take us? And most of the time, I'm like, get it out of the way.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. I'm Tyler.
Yeah, I'm Jake. I think I already said it, but who cares? Episode 186.
Marvel Mania!
Mostly
Mostly Marvel.
Parentheses, mostly Marvel.
You could call this episode...
Oh, this is also a very relaxed comic book episode because for the first time in a while, we don't really have a show.
I'm wearing my pajamas.
I'm butt naked.
Weird, because you're like, why are you in my house?
Hey, we're not doing video yet. So
wearing your pajamas when you're in our house.
My balls are out.
Yeah.
I don't. Well,
it is like
can I say
negative
something?
9 degrees out, so I may not get my car started. I may have to sleep over.
Yeah, maybe. Balls out.
Not in my house.
I want to make it clear that I have been working on the back catalog of videos. I want to get back up on the YouTube channel and get that back going.
Nice.
Unfortunately, CapCut, the app that I used, doesn't work in the U.S. anymore.
Wow.
So now I have to currently get a new one. Thanks, America.
Uh-huh.
So we're working through that, but I'm just saying that, you know, we're going to try and put more clips up on YouTube when we can. We're working through that and figuring that out.
I didn't watch the news at all today, but right around, I want to say 11 o'clock, my asshole tightened like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What happened today? Do you know?
But yeah, it's a rough day for a lot of people, so we're going to focus, and the country in general.
Like, I got a bad stomach ache and a real tight butthole, and I was like, what's going on?
So we don't have shows to talk about.
Sweating.
But we're going to talk about comic books. There's a trailer I do want to talk about that blew my goddamn mind. But I do mostly want to talk about comic books.
Blew my goddamn mind! Yeah!
I want to get something out of the way.
That was awesome.
Last week, I talked about how important Marvel Rivals is for Marvel's brand. And how when I was playing as certain characters, I was thinking like, hey, I haven't read Venom in a while, or I haven't read Moon Knight in a while. And like the other night I was playing as Storm, and I'm like, dude, there's so many X-Men books I could read about Storm.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I have friends that are usually don't read comic books or into comic books, are like, they're looking up the lore on these characters. They're going like looking at these wikis and things. And my favorite thing about it is their response to me a lot of the times is, oh my God, that's stupid. Why? They really just ran out of ideas. To which I say, welcome to comics, buddy.
Example.
He looked up the maker, the ultimate, and I said, dude, and I said this with my fucking chest, and I will stand on this. The original Ultimate comic books, the only good one was Spider-Man. That's it. Everything else sucked. The Ultimate sucked. X-Men sucked. Yes, Whedon had a nice little run there, but there's still some weird shit in that series in general, and it sucked. And then Ultimatum was just god-awful. All of that was shit. So I told him that, and I said that's why the Maker sucks, because everything, and I'll beat my chest on that. I hated the Ultimate Universe. I just did not like it. But that's what I mean, is like, there is that weird thing of like where I laugh, where he says things like, "Really? That's what they did? Yeah, that's kind of dumb." Yeah.
Can I do want to state unequivocally that to me the idea of an evil Reed Richards and the design that they have for him with that helmet and shit.
Oh, his design's cool looking.
The Maker's fucking cool as shit, dude. An evil Reed. Come on, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and he also goes, oh, yeah. He goes, another thing he found out, he's like, wow, characters really do die all the time. I'm like, oh, yeah. All the time. Nobody stays dead.
If you ever read a comic book, I want to say it was during Dark Reign, but there's a comic book, I want to say Daredevil, and Black Widow like goes to the Daily Bugle offices, and she has a conversation with, I can't remember who, but one of the reporters, and they talk about how she died and how she came back, and they talk about what death is like and being, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they make a couple of references, like kind of offhanded, tongue-in-cheek references to the fact that they're comic book characters and can't really die, and that it's not really that fun. It's an interesting book if you ever.
Yeah.
I think it was during Dark Reign.
Yeah, but it was funny because like there's moments where he's like, "Oh, this is really cool. This is awesome," and that's why I'm like, this is why I talk about how much I love comics on this show and why like I'm excited to do this episode because we're just mostly talking about comics.
Well,
it is a double-edged sword because when it hits, man, it's incredible. Like when we were talking about Superman Space Age and like the books that I have on my shelf, like. Make no mistake, I still absolutely love the medium.
Make no mistake.
But I can't help it when I'm looking through these fucking Marvel books that we're going to talk about, and I see a book that's called Eddie Brock Carnage. Which, let me go on a fucking tangent about that, if you will.
Let's fucking do it.
Because as someone who like always defends this character, always defends Venom, and always talks about how all the cool storylines that Venom has, a lot of really bad ones. I'm not going to pretend there aren't. Every character does, obviously. But like, how can I defend this to anybody? I'm sorry. It is creatively bankrupt. I showed it to my wife, someone who only knows about a lot of this stuff through me, who doesn't really read comics or anything like that.
She's cooler than us.
Even she knows, that, like, wow, that's lame.
Yeah.
Like, even she saw it and said, that's dumb. I go, are we just out of ideas? And she goes, oh, yeah, sure, 100%. Because it's like, well, what else can we do with Carnage? Well, he's never been attached to... It's like, obviously the business isn't hurting. Like, they're not hurting. Marvel is still making money,
Hand
but
on
like
fist. Printing dollar
this
bills.
is what you and I had talked about kind of with Wolverine, which is also funny because I gave him Wolverine #1 and he liked it. And he goes, his issue is it was too short. And I'm like, yep, that's how they get you. The first issue.
Well,
but anyway, go ahead.
Well, Absolute Batman. When the Absolute stuff was announced, I know. I think I was more vocal about how much I thought it was going to suck. We both thought it was going to suck.
Yeah.
Because of the fucking stupid logo.
But it was Snyder. I knew that Snyder had done really good Batman stuff in the past.
And here's what troubles me is who's writing it? Is it Dugan? We'll get to it.
What?
Eddie Brock Carnage.
No.
Is it just some random dude?
I'd have to pull it up in the book.
We'll get to it. But depending on who's writing it, I mean, I don't know. It might be kind of good. It's just, it's the same thing that we talked about with Wolverine last week and the Lethal Weapon show. It's you take a property or an IP and you attach it to something, and then you realize this story would have been a lot more palatable if it was original, instead of I took this story and I made it into something else. For instance, Die Hard 2. The script for that was for a completely different movie.
Every except for the fifth one, every Die Hard movie was something else.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just everything. There is nothing new under the sun. Trust me on this.
No, I know, and everybody.
We know this.
Every character dies because, dude. For fuck's sake. Okay, so we talked about Wolverine, right? So then in these books, I think it was in Infinity Watch.
Yeah.
The one that we're gonna talk about later, where I saw two ads where I saw the fucking Eddie Brock Carnage one, and then I saw another one. I was like, oh my god. So Wolverine. Which, by the way, let me remind you, son of Wolverine, not Wolverine himself.
Yeah.
Son of Wolverine,
Yeah.
who is
and not Zarathos, so not really. It's not really Ghost Rider
Johnny
Wolverine.
Blaze, it's not really Ghost Rider, but it is. So it's Wolverine. It's his thing, right?
So it's kind of also a bait and switch.
Marvel did it again with fucking. By the way, horrible title, Power Man Timeless, where he has the power of Iron Fist, the Sentry, and Luke Cage himself has all of these powers, and he's got this big gray beard. And
Oh,
it's
is
called
it
Power
like-
Man Timeless. It's a new ongoing series.
Oh,
First of all,
why?
it should have been called Timeless Power Man. Should have flipped it. But that's what I mean. What are you doing, Marvel? Why do you keep taking your characters and combining them with 2 or 3 other characters? Just like this is what I'm like when people, and I don't think this is true, but I think that like manga, however you want to say it, or however it's pronounced, I do apologize if I mispronounce it.
Here's what I'll
I always
say.
call it manga.
I called it manga for the longest time. Everybody that I hear saying it now, it's manga. So
fine,
that is what
fine,
I've decided
Fine,
it is.
I'll call it manga.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong,
I think it's manga.
If
you
I'm wrong,
fuckers.
I'm sure somebody will correct me. But point is, the reason why a lot of people like that stuff is because it is a series, but when it ends, and it doesn't always go on for these super long periods of time. And I think that's and I've said this so many times on this show about my problem with continuity and why you and I go back and forth on like what books we want to read, what books we want to talk about, what we want to dedicate our time to, because it's like Eddie Brock Venom or Eddie Brock Carnage and fucking Power Man Timeless and all this other the Infinity Watch book itself. It's just like, this is why people don't like comics.
Mhm.
This is the shit. And I want to be clear. I don't think it's writing like the writer's problem or artist's problem or anything like that. I think it's the fucking publisher.
It's the stockholders.
It's Disney itself.
It's the fuck faces. Hey,
Yes.
And we also talked about
Because a lot of times these guys are forced to make this shit. Like, they're forced to have some sort of stupid
What books
fucking
do we have
initiative. So we got Absolute Batman number 4,
Wolverine,
Deadpool,
and then,
Wolverine 1, and Infinity Watch 1, because we already talked about Wolverine last week. So, but and we'll start to talk about other things, and we'll move on here. But like, that's what's so frustrating especially when I'm trying to tell but it's what I've always tried to do, and what I always think you should do.
Yep.
If someone like clearly my friend is showing interest in these comics
Right.
because of that video game, right?
Right.
So now it's on me to kind of be his personal librarian and kind of figure out like, okay, what like trades.
Also, from what I've seen about your game, there's a lot of liberties taken. A lot of liberties taken with characters.
It's a weird, like, there's a whole weird storyline.
Especially Wolverine being a tank and
No, it's a whole thing. But I don't really pay attention to that. But the lore and all that. But anyway, point is, it's like now, you have to be selective, right? You have to pick certain things, because how the hell can I give him something like, oh, this is Power Man, but he's got these powers and these powers now because of this thing and this. Wait, what? And like that's what's so frustrating.
We talked about it last week. We looked at that page in fucking Wolverine, and it's a whole checklist.
Half that
and
book
it's
is backstory.
Just fucking X books. Those are all the X books that month.
And
fuck that
and
shit.
that book itself, while I enjoyed it, half of that Wolverine book is Benjamin Percy explaining who the fucking character is, because when I showed it to my friend, him and I joked about the same thing that we joked about on the podcast with that whole
Who's his friend?
the whole thing about it. So it's like now I have to I literally have to curate, like, okay, here's the books that I liked, here's the runs that I like. Maybe you'll like this one, blah 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 blah. Because it's like, if you asked me to explain like Old Man Logan, I told him that one, and I said, oh yeah, you totally forgot about the incest Hulk kids, and he's like, what? I'm like, oh
yeah.
Thanks. Mark
Also these incest Hulk kids end up killing Logan's family in the end anyway.
and eat them.
Yeah.
And then Hulk eats Wolverine, and then he bursts out of Hulk. Like, it's just,
There's a whole sequence where Hulk talks about the fact that he had to have sex with his cousin because she's the only one who could, I mean, that's fucked up, dude.
How can I explain that to someone?
That whole fucking conversation in the book is like, what am I fucking reading? And also, no, I didn't like the artistic choice to make Hawkeye's daughter just turn bad for no reason in the middle of it.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, by the way, I'm actually bad, Daddy. What?
I do love that Marvel has taken that Old Man Logan world, and then with those podcasts, Marvel Wastelanders and stuff, has like tried to make it better, because they're like, well, this was a cool idea, and there's a lot here, but we want to distance ourselves from that weird shit, because they even have a Wolverine series with Robert Patrick as Wolverine, which is actually really good.
Okay.
Well, and they don't fucking reference that at all. It is in the same timeline. It is the same story, but they're like, we're not going to talk about that shit because it's weird. And that's what I mean.
Weird.
That's what's hard. That's the tricky thing about showing your friend comics, because while I love the medium, when it's just like everything. It's like pro wrestling.
Some of it hits, some of it
It's
misses.
like movies. It's like shows. Yeah, when it fucking hits, man, it's magic. It's just pure magic. But there's a lot of dumpster fires, man, and that's what makes those really good ones stand out. And let's talk about some of them. Or do you want to talk about Daredevil first?
Let's do the Daredevil thing.
Holy shit! Let's talk about Daredevil Born Again.
So first things first.
My pants are tight.
Wow. I still have not seen season 3 of Daredevil.
Oh my god, get to it, my brother.
I'm
serious.
I watched the first 2 episodes of the Punisher series. I gotta say that this is embarrassing to admit. I loved season 1 of Daredevil. Season 2 was just too much going on. And I can't wait for Born Again because it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to devour it like I did season 1.
I feel like you're going to need to watch
I
all
just
of it,
am not sold on it, man.
because this is clearly taking place after season 3.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Like,
I didn't care for the Punisher fucking series,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
don't care for him in the fucking...
what's wrong with you? What didn't you like? It was perfect.
Why? The Punisher itself is a dumb character.
One
We've
bad-
already established that.
One batch, two batch, penny and dime. Come on, my man. No, but that's the best thing. In court, he admitted to doing it, and like he went to prison, and like he continued to show you that the Punisher is a shitty dude. Yeah. That's the beauty of this show.
That part when he comes out is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, when he kills all those fucking prisoners is insane.
Pretty cool.
But this show, well, yes, it does glorify his violent acts. It also continues to show that he is not the hero of this show. He's not the hero of the story.
And then the whole Elektra shit in the hand, like, slow down, you guys.
Okay.
They tried to put way too much in that second season.
Tyler, I will meet you listen to me. I will meet you halfway and say this. Season 1's incredible. Season 2, I really, really liked a lot.
I do too.
But
I watched the whole thing.
But I think you are right. I think they try to do a little too much in that second season, and I think that they should have either made the Punisher storyline the whole entire season or the Elektra thing the whole entire season. And I think trying to do both, it just didn't quite. I think there
isn't Elektra in season 3 too.
No, she dies in the Defenders show. Because she's the main villain in the Defenders.
To be honest, by the time the third season rolls around, we've seen Defenders and Iron Fist. And honestly, by that point, I'm tired of it.
I liked Jessica... Time out. I've said this a million times. Jessica Jones season 1. It was
awesome.
Loved
Incredible.
Luke Cage couldn't finish it. Iron Fist.
Luke Cage season 1 was great until they fucking killed off Cottonmouth. And then it's like, well, who the fuck is this jackass?
I stopped watching after that. Didn't care about Iron Fist. Didn't bother to watch.
No. I watched 2 episodes.
Daredevil has only been the good one.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. You got to go back and watch season 2. I think season 2 is better than you're giving it credit for. I think the criticisms that you have are fair in a sense of I agree there's just too much a little bit. Season 3 kind of gets back to basics, and season 3 is incredible.
Is season 1 or 2 when they have Nuke? That character who's got the pills. That bad guy.
Can't remember.
Is that Jessica Jones?
That's Jessica Jones. Yeah, that's Jessica Jones because
he should have been in Daredevil. What the fuck?
Dude, just for dude, I'm telling you,
give me a douchebag with a flag on his face.
Tyler. Just for Bullseye's story alone, season 3 is worth watching because how they do his origin story and how they show his psychosis of like his origin story is in black and white, almost like Leave It to Beaver. And it like kind of really dives into how just insane he really is. And he is like, while I absolutely adore the silly over-the-top scenery chomping of Colin Farrell's version of it, this one is cold, calculated, and just horrifying. And
I'll do this for you. I'll do this for you. I'm
not watching The fucking Wire.
I'll do.
Don't make me. Yo, go ahead.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but.
Here it is, laid bare. Now you know. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I'll do things for you, I guess. I don't. kind of sad that I know where our relationship stands now.
Who finished that Godzilla movie all those months ago? That was like a year ago. 2 years ago almost.
I don't have a show to watch, and they fucking took Newhart away from me, so I
Those
need something
bastards.
to watch.
So you're going to watch it?
Well, it's on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
even though I have a Netflix account because of the fucking NFL.
Thanks, Roger.
No, I'm not watching Stranger Things. Fuck off.
Stranger. Okay.
I'm just not going to do it. I am just not going to do it.
Not gonna do
I
it.
am just not fucking going to do it.
Not gonna.
You know how you feel about The Wire?
That's how you feel about Yeah, you know what? Fair. That's pretty spot on. That's a pretty fair assessment.
And tell me if this is how you feel about it. No, seriously.
Here we go.
Deep inside.
Oh.
The reason why I don't want to watch Stranger Things is because I think I'll love it.
Yeah.
Is that why you won't watch The
Yeah.
Wire?
Probably, yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Will that make you feel
Okay.
better?
Deep down inside. Where?
Can we talk about Daredevil?
What just happened?
So
Did we have a fucking session of like
so first of all, I would love to point out
psychoanalysis?
the point of this where Fisk has now become the mayor. That's where we're at in this show.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that because I remember in the
Okay, so wait a second.
Can I
Echo.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes. I have a question after that.
Because it's mirroring our lives, and I want to ask you about it.
Our lives.
Were you reading comics at the time where this storyline was taking, like where Fisk was the mayor?
I don't think so. I think that was after 2000.
Because I'm thinking
Most of the Daredevil books I read, which was like Frank Miller into Ann Nesenti and John Romita.
I think around this time,
that was like mid to like late 80s, and that was mostly like Fisk was powerful, but it was like Typhoid Mary and Bullseye and Nuke and this guy Bushwhacker who just there's one book where Fisk hires all of these old villains of his to take him out during an anti-war protest in downtown New York. So it turns into a riot, so his senses are going crazy, and while his senses are going crazy, like the Rhino shows up, fucking Bushwhacker shows up. And
wouldn't that be crazy?
do you
if
know
they
who
did it in this
Bushwhacker
show?
is? He's this guy, and he can turn his like arms into weapons and shit.
Pubes, dude. I was trying to say pubes before you said
no,
anything.
There's two Well, anyway, the point is that it was a really great book, but Fisk was never anything more than like the biggest, most powerful guy in New York.
Anyway, I thought at the time when that came out that like that was a big thing. Like that's why it's like, oh well, that's why it's a comic book. It's like someone like that would never be a mayor. And then I'm like, well, look what we elected. And
There's
I think,
a
like,
rapist in the White House,
whoa!
dude. Hey, look, that's the way it is.
Hey, it is true.
That is fucking
you are
fact.
stating an actual
A
fact.
convicted rapist is now occupying the White House. Congratulations,
And
America.
a convicted
Is it
felon.
time for our new segment?
Fuck this country.
No, let's go into Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah,
Because we were talking about that.
I know. I think this trailer was fantastic. So, as someone who actually watched the show, all 3 seasons, no, you and I have talked about like that was one of the like we bonded like instantly over like Verhoeven movies like that. But I think one of the other things we bonded over was we both really liked Daredevil, the character, and I've always really loved Daredevil.
And more than anything, like I said, season 3 was after I had tried watching The Punisher
I get
and
it.
Iron Fist.
I
and
get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, and then by that point,
There's such a dip in quality.
honestly, by that point, I believe it was already stated that they would not be moving to the MCU at that point.
Yeah, because
They
we
are
just
now, I
known
think.
it was taken off Netflix, but we didn't know what they were going to do with it.
Right. So at that point, there's a lot of reasons why I didn't watch it. None of them were because I didn't care or I thought it was bad or whatever. I don't think I gave Punisher enough of a chance. I gave Defenders and fucking Iron Fist a lot of fucking rope.
I
dude.
didn't even bother
A
with
lot of
Iron
rope.
Fist. I did not care.
I did, man. I'm embarrassed by how much rope I gave him. But again, by the time Daredevil season 3 came out, I was like, why watch it? It's not going to have anything to do with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons, but none of them was because I didn't want to. It's just I never got around to it, and there's no reason for me not to now because I did love the first 2 seasons. Again, the Punisher's a dumb character, but yeah, John Bernthal fucking rules.
Oh, dude, him showing up in this trailer was like, oh fuck.
I knew he was going to be in it.
I knew.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I thought like I don't know if I never put it together in my mind that they had confirmed it. I'm pretty sure they did at some point, but
The whole rooftop sequence is fucking crazy. Is that in season 1 or 2?
Oh, and he's
When they first meet,
when
and
he's
it's the
strapped
whole,
up tied up
the chimney.
in the chimney. That's season
It's like
2.
a 3-episode
that's season 2.
arc.
That's season 2, and that's directly from the comics.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
Great fucking.
I
acting.
think this trailer was a great way to also show you like it is going to be that show you remember.
it's going to be
It's
violent.
it had to do this trailer because of all the shit that happened where like everything was wrong. They had to restructure everything and do all this, which sometimes it makes me wonder how much of this is show business and how much is this Marvel making up shit to make themselves look better, to be
What
like,
do you mean?
because maybe they really did fuck it up that bad and where they had to be like, whoa, let's restart everything. Or maybe, just maybe, they really didn't have this much trouble, but they needed to buy themselves more time. So they created this whole narrative that everything got deleted and destroyed and started over, new showrunner and everything like that. Because it can't look this good in that short amount of time to be like where you literally deleted everything you did, started over fresh, and it looks this fucking good. Like, that's crazy how good it looks for them completely restarting and starting over. So
Yeah, they did say they did that, didn't they?
yeah, remember they completely started over. They had to reshoot everything.
When
and
is that
do
coming out?
everything
March?
over. March, yeah,
Only a couple
And-
weeks away from Brave New World.
yeah. But like, that's what I mean. I don't know if that's true or not. I could just be putting a tinfoil hat on.
Making shit up.
But I only say that because holy shit, it looks this fucking good. Like it
looks really
I
good.
was like, oh
I
my
saw
gosh.
at least 4 bones being broken and at least 2 necks.
But that's what they had to do. So they came out with that trailer to be like, no. This is gonna be as brutal and violent as the Netflix show was. Like this is a continuation of that. And to prove it, we're gonna show as many fucking broken bones as possible. And that's just the trailer. This should be a drinking game for how many fucking fractures you see, compound fractures per episode. And I don't know if they're gonna do like the single shot gimmick again. If they're gonna do it again this season, but I feel like there's gonna be something like that.
The hallway and the staircase scenes in, I believe, both were in season 1. Fucking incredible.
So what do you think about?
No. Season 2 was the staircase because it was him and the Punisher going down the staircase.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, season 3 was him outside of the suit in the prison when there was a prison riot when he goes to visit Fisk, and he is it's just him literally fighting his way outside of his suit, just him and his as a lawyer, looking like a lawyer, just fighting his way out, and it's fucking awesome. And,
Thanks for ruining it, Dick.
I'm interested to
Such a
see Vincent D'Onofrio be the mayor and play that role of power and do with what he's doing with Kingpin. That's gonna be so fucking cool. What, Sir Tyler Allen? Off panel, off topic.
Oh, do you remember when you were a little kid
Yeah.
and you would hold your hand up and then you'd put your other hand up to
Look over.
Yeah. And then you would just kick.
And then you'd pick.
It was your way to fuck
would-
with that
and then-
adult. To be like, yeah, I know you're calling on me, but you made me fucking wait, so I'm gonna make you fucking wait.
The worst part is you're right, but then somebody else does it and they go to them first and then they get it wrong. You're like, you stupid asshole.
Fucking
I had the right.
motherfucker. That must be okay. Echo. What the fuck?
What a waste.
No. I liked the show.
No, I did too.
But how does that tie in? Does that have anything to do with it?
I don't know.
How is his? Because what happens to him at the end? Right, he doesn't get killed.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I don't fucking remember. That's why I say what a waste, because I enjoyed her performance and I really liked the first few episodes.
I think she'll
but
show up again. But yeah,
God, that ending, just like Moon Knight, just took me out of it.
hey, here's a bunch of fucking crazy effects. I don't fucking care. Show me something cool.
No, I love that we are. It truly does feel like a continuation of that Netflix show. I'm really excited about it. I was I had high hopes, and I was truly blown away by like, wow, this is
Looks really good.
So violent. It's so awesome, man. As someone who loves the character and loves Daredevil, I'm excited.
I'm not gonna lie. I really wish they could figure out a way to make Bullseye's costume in real life in live
As silly
action.
as it looks.
It's
yeah.
so fucking stupid, though.
So you know how they got around that?
Hi,
And
look at the big bullseye on my forehead. My name's Bullseye. Get it? I also got one on my chest,
Well,
one in my elbows, and my fucking knees.
are you actually gonna watch it? The
What?
show? Are you actually gonna watch
Born
season
Again?
Season 3.
Yeah, because I never have.
You know how they get around it, and that is
Don't tell me. Or you can.
he's naked. No, I'm kidding.
He's got a big dick.
His dick's swinging the whole time. No, he
You don't even notice what
he
he's wearing.
has an imposter Daredevil suit, so he's never actually wears the Bullseye suit.
I know.
He wears a fake Daredevil suit. But yeah, they did the most important thing they had to do was be like, hey, look, we know we fucked up. Here's him beating the shit out of people. And I love the shot of him screaming, and there's all those dudes, and it's in his old red costume, and it's I love that the yellow one was used as a gimmick for She-Hulk. I kind of love that because you know what? It's like a fucking comic book where it's hey, we need to boost the sales. Let's put him in an alternate costume in this book, and then when he's back in his own book, he's his own thing.
And by the way, for the record, She-Hulk still fucking slaps.
I did enjoy that show a lot. I am a little frustrated that we are kind of doing the I got to earn my horns back storyline that we kind of already did in season 3. We're kind of doing it again here. But I will forgive it if it's a quick thing because he's clearly back in it in the trailer and you already see. So because there's a scene where he opens it up and it's all the different helmets. And I'm
I saw that.
oh
yeah.
shit, are we gonna do the hand one where it's the all black? Or are we gonna what are we gonna do with that? And I love that we saw more.
There have been some real misses on the Daredevil costume front, and I just gotta say
the
this.
yellow one is a fun throwback.
I just gotta say this. To me, the perfect Daredevil costume is comic book accurate, and here's what sucks about it because it doesn't make any sense in live action, but just a skin tight leotard with some shorts. Yeah. He's got his billy club, got his little horns, DD and DD.
Honestly, the Netflix one is growing on me. To be honest,
no, the Netflix one you have to have him. You have to in live action. You got to give him some kind of fucking armor.
That's not going to translate to live.
No, it would look fucking.
It would look
dorky.
awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Oh my god. Here's the thing. To put somebody in a skin tight outfit and have it in live action,
serious as this show
and
is,
have it be like the comics, they would have to be flexing all the fucking time, right? And how would they act? They're shitting themselves because they're trying to. I don't know which one to flex. I shit myself again. I'm trying to flex my abs. Yeah. Honestly, the only real dude who can get away with skin tight shit without flexing all the time is fucking John Cena, dude.
Or The Rock.
I don't like The Rock, so I'm not going to give him any props.
That's true.
I'm surprised he wasn't at the inauguration, that fucking bitch.
Lay the people's elbow on my heart.
Rock's dead to me.
Did
so is fucking Snoop
did I
Dogg.
mention it last week?
So is fucking Snoop. What?
Did I mention last week about Hulk Hogan getting booed out of the arena?
Yes, you did.
That was
Did you
amazing.
see Melanie Mack's tweet about "We are so back"? Yeah.
I hate her.
I said, "Fuck you."
I'm not on Twitter anymore because of people like that.
Yeah. Dude, the day, literally, yesterday it was like this, and today it's
Normal.
like this, and it's like that's
I'm glad
weird.
that you described that to an audio podcast.
Let's go.
Daredevil Born Again,
Let's
everybody.
effing LFG.
All right, first.
Do you ever read somebody LFG on a social media post, and instead of reading it, "Let's fucking go," you go NFG, you know what I mean? Do you know how some people like to do?
No, I usually do it in a.
Do you know how some people like to do LMFAO, like a bunch of O's?
All right. So if we ever do video, when we ever do video, I'm gonna hold it up like a late night show to the camera. But I'm gonna hold up you, Tyler, like you're the camera. We got a book here. It's book. Love it. We got our first book to review tonight, and this one is, or today, whenever you're listening. This is Absolute Batman #4, folks. I'm getting a fake crowd applause.
So there's
Absolute Batman number 4 by Scott
Yeah.
Snyder. Different artist.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a second, but I want to get his name here. Where's the title sequence? Where's the title page?
Who knows?
Anyway, Tyler, how do you feel about Absolute Batman number 4?
I fucking hated every fucking minute of it.
Whew, I didn't hate every minute of it, but okay. All right, so
You have a whole company-wide initiative that you're doing called the Absolute All In. You have a year to do it. And you give me a fucking filler issue in a 5-issue arc? I think it's in the back. Where is it? Where's that stupid ass?
I don't know who it is, but it's not Nick Dragata for this.
I'm not. It's not
right
bad.
Go back.
No.
Back page.
Oh, is it?
Right there. Credits are on the bottom left.
It's not bad. It's Gabriel Hernandez Walta.
No, the art is not bad.
No.
It's not. It's just jarring to go between Dragata's style to his style because they're two kind of similar but also very different. And I think
What the fuck is this?
okay.
What is this?
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Get to your point.
And then you're telling me that he's experimenting? Oh. Okay, sorry.
Finish your original thought. That
What was my original thought?
Well, just
Filler issue, and you've been telling me for a year, and you've got a filler issue that's number 4 in a 5-issue arc. You have got to be fucking kidding me, DC. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Okay.
well, I don't mind. I guess I don't mind an origin. Like I was fine with the origin that we already had kind of established in the series, and
I don't need it fed to me.
I don't want that in a number 4 of a 5-issue arc.
Maybe number 10 after the 5-issue arc
Like,
is done, and you have nothing to put out.
I keep saying think like that, like I'm British. I think. I
think that it's terrible.
Yeah. So I think. Well, I would still feel the same way too when it's collected, when it's going to be the 1 through 5 of the zoo as a trade, and this 4 will be there, and it's like,
What is it? Why?
it's sometimes it can work, sometimes it works. Like you and I talked how much we loved like episode 5 of that 6-episode series in Moon Knight, how they did the origin in episode 5, and how they did that. It can work.
Sure.
But I'm seeing a trend too much of having a certain starting point of a story. And then as we get just past the midway point, we're going to have, or the second to last bit of this, we're going to have a big flashback.
Yeah.
And
I'm
tell
tired
all
of
that.
that.
I don't.
I'm tired of
It
that.
happens too much now. Like with TV shows and comics, I just see it too much. And I don't think there's a problem doing that, but I think you're doing it too soon. I think if you're going to have this kind of issue that number 4 is, you have it maybe at issue 10 or 11, much more established into the series. You're like, oh, we're going to go back a little bit. Like, it kills the momentum to me.
It really does.
It kills all the momentum.
The
that
last
those
we
first
saw
3 issues
of Batman is that he took the offer.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting number 4 to be like him showing up and like trying and like failing, and then 5 is like when he wins. You know what I mean? That's what I'm expecting. And 4 has nothing to do with the current story.
I can understand.
Not a one.
Well, I can understand narratively of him saying, okay, here's Batman taking the deal, but before that, here's like why it was hard for him, because this is this Batman's principle of you have to give people tools to do it themselves, to not rely on rich people. Okay, yeah, fine. But again, it still kills the momentum.
Yeah.
Because you can tell me that while also continuing the narrative that's going on. And
Scott, you're a good enough writer that through 3 issues, you've already told me everything that you took number 4 to tell me, you've already fucking told me. So number 4 is just bullshit to me.
So, and while I love Creature Commandos, I think it is also, it's on the back of this book. That's why I'm going to point this out. Creature Commandos is also, excuse me, is also a victim of that because it has a current narrative and a flashback. And while I did enjoy it in that show, at later in that season, around the 6th or 7th episode, I was kind of like, all right, I wish we would just kind of focus on what's like. I like this story, but
fair enough.
I would also kind of appreciate them to stick on the main narrative, right? This is the same thing, but this is, to me, this is a little bit worse because it still even loosely, even less as how do I even phrase this properly? It's not. There's no current narrative having any impact with this. All this is doing is just establishing again of the things that he built, which you already established with Alfred in the other 3 issues.
Yes.
At one point.
Yes.
And again, I agree with how your opinion, and that's kind of how I felt about it, is the spoon feeding of it to me is silly. Because I don't need an explanation of how he created the things that he created.
Scott, you're a better writer than you give yourself credit. You already told us this, man. Why are you wasting my time with with one of the 5 issues that you have
a very
to
big
tell me this
filler issue? It's just
Right?
filler. It's
And I got to tell you what bugged me the most was not that it was that, because it's not a bad issue.
It's not. There's some really good stuff in here.
It's just not right now, man. Get the fuck out of
It
here.
kills the
Go-
and like I said,
What I wanna do-
like 10 or issue 10 or 11 or something when it's later down the line. If you want to tell this story, do it. But yeah,
This is a guy who shows up at my door. I'm like, I don't want that number 4. Go get me
You
the
know why?
real number 4.
and
I'll read you
and
later.
You know why you're mad at, and why you're upset about it, and why I am too, because you established this pace, Snyder. You established it. The first 3 issues, and maybe this was your intent. but
Maybe.
those first 3 issues.
It feels like to me the artist couldn't get the fucking art done in time. That's what usually happens.
because the first 3 issues are a breakneck speed, and then this 4th one completely halts it.
Yes.
and then
I don't know what the 5 is
So
going to be.
it's not going to be
2
5.
weeks.
It can't be 5. Does it say of 5? It has to be 6 because there's no way.
Does it still? It still says 4 or
it just
5,
says
doesn't
part 4. It just says part 4.
it? Right. And
I
I'll-
guarantee you, it's an
part
this is a
5 of 6. It's a fucking filler issue because they can't figure out that Nick Dragata can't do 5 fucking issues at the pace they need him to do. Stop doing that,
Which isn't-
comic book companies.
which is not his fault.
no.
Then
You're right. It's DC's fault
Say,
for
hey,
not giving him the time.
Nick can only do 4 issues.
Darn right. Nick is awesome.
Well, that's a
Fuck DC.
I will never blame the
You're
artists.
right. You're right. And I should. It makes me mad because he plotted the issue.
Time out. I do believe in such.
So
I do
mad.
believe in
So mad.
time out. I do believe in deadlines.
Of course.
But it's also I feel like the work rate is really hard on these artists, like writers
You're right,
and artists.
and you're right.
So that's why I don't. My beef is never with them. It's always with the publisher because I always know it's someone from the top down putting their thumb on them. Like, get this fucking Infinity Watch book out. Get this fucking Deadpool Wolverine. Even though I enjoy that, but you know what I mean. Like, get this book. Get these books out.
So Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman are both going to be 5-part arcs, and Absolute Batman is going to
Probably
be
gonna
a
be 6.
issue
Yeah.
behind. Now, fair enough, it started them all off, so it comes out before the other ones. We'll have the number 5
and
in 3 weeks.
Maybe Snyder had an idea and he thought he could do
Maybe
it in
that-
5 and he wanted to do it in 6 and he just put this extra one in there. I don't know. But it definitely feels like this was put in late and just because, yes, it has impact and informs the story that we're currently going on, but at the same time, it definitely feels like it's a filler.
Not to get too much into it, but there's a sequence towards the beginning where these
we're talking
guys
about it,
these
so-
guys are being attacked by this fucking vampire Batman.
Okay.
And I'm like, is this some sort of weird dream sequence? And then I find
This
out
drove me
that
insane.
he's experimenting.
Time out. I want to explain
Sorry,
it. I want to
so mad.
No, I want to explain it. Yeah, because it's funny. Because I thought it was a dream too. What
This can't be real, Roman. What
so
the fuck
the what I thought it was the depiction of Batman through someone else's perspective.
Sure.
and
or
it was
like
just
a-
someone
yeah,
that
yeah.
was scared. This is what
yeah.
they saw.
But then it's like,
But then he bites
really?
someone.
Biting Bruce? Isn't that what he says?
So then he bites someone. Yeah, but that's the thing. So then he jumps down and he bites someone, and he's like, Brody's like, what did you do to him? And he like slices at another guy because he has like Wolverine style claws on his gloves, and then pulls out a gun
Yes.
and he
What?
says, I choose to be a bat. I chose to be a bat. I chose a bat. And then he's like, has the flashback of talking to his dad. And then he's like, what are you doing, Bruce? This is all wrong. And, whatever. And yeah, it turns out that he really was dressing up like a vampire bat and
Yes.
doing that.
And he had fangs. You got to be shitting me.
Which I'm
Snyder.
sure was a
you gotta
joke.
Be shitting me.
Which I'm sure was a joke, and but it's just, what are we doing? Because again, we're in issue 4.
Okay. Just want to borrow this. I want to see how long it takes me. Like I'm just opening this up. Okay. You know what? I'm not.
And by the way, The stuff with Bruce in the courtroom, I liked.
Absolutely, right?
And you could have tied that to the fucking story you're
Then I'm
telling
reading
now.
this, and I
Tyler.
don't know what's going on. But the second fucking page, it's talking about, it's just this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, third page, here's Vampire Batman, Squee! and it's just fuck off, man. You know, just.
Yeah.
And,
Can I?
yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to see how long it took me to say
Here's my-
fuck off to this issue,
my
and it
point.
was second page.
Here's how I'm point why I think it's filler. Because the scenes with Bruce are great. So we had the flashback at the beginning of him explaining, like, hey, Joe Chill is supposed to come on the stand. Why do you want to go on the stand before him? And it's like, what it is you have to say. So then we go to the flashback of him dressed up as Vampire Batman, him burning all this shit. And then this is fun, where there's a bait and switch of what looks like the Batmobile, but it's an RC version.
That's
fun.
Neat.
I like
that.
that.
Neat.
That sequence was cool.
At first, I was like, wow, this art is bad. And then I realized what was happening. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
And then we have a project where he has to build something for a civilization that's been ravaged by tragedy.
Now, if you're telling me, like, hey, and is that supposed to be the Joker?
Okay, but so then after that flashback, we jump back to the courtroom, and it talks about his pain, and he's like, I want you to know that all that was gone. Those scenes that are in this book are dispersed at very few points, right? And then it finally shows up again at the end, and then it's him talking to Joe Chill.
Yeah.
Like, can I just say, those sequences could have been in the fourth issue, and I think we're already in the fourth issue, and I think everything else around it was the filler.
Yeah.
Because those are the only ones that actually make sense that tie it to what's going on. And by the way, Scott, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what Joe Chill has to fucking say to Bruce Wayne.
No.
Get it out of this fucking storyline, and fine. If you're going to plant the seed now, throw that seed, flick it somewhere else, and put it on a later issue, and do it then.
Shove it up your butt.
Because I don't give a shit. Finish the fucking party animal shit. Finish that. Please. I agree with you. There are sequences that are fun, and I like, and there's some good, and I actually do think the art does. It takes a little bit of getting used to because you're used to Dragata's art, and it's like, okay, now I'm doing this, and I fucking hate it when like this is a principled thing that you have. I hate it when they have to switch an artist in the middle of an arc. It's frustrating.
Oh. And I'm very sorry I tried to blame the artist. I'm frustrated.
No, I don't think you were blaming, but that you were just saying the truth. You're just saying like he couldn't get it done in time. Like, that's just what happened.
Yeah,
probably.
I know, but I didn't. Anyway. But yeah, so
and yes, I agree. I think that it is a waste because I feel like he did enough in those first three issues, and look, there's that. I know there's that argument of like every issue is someone's first issue.
Every rose has its thorn,
and all that, but it's
just that.
But that doesn't apply here. You know why? Because it's fucking Batman. I don't need another fucking origin story. What you had already done in those first three issues was enough. Keep going. And that, you know why? And you know why you and I are so pissed? Because we fucking dug this book. We really liked those first three issues. A lot.
The cover is his spikes going off.
We don't even see that at all.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool. Because I remember what was going on, and this is where he's going to kick fucking Roman Sionis' ass.
Yeah.
No. Here's a fucking filler issue. Anyway.
All right, so now we're going to talk about something we liked, and then something else we were like, wow, what a waste of time again.
Welcome to our show.
We love comics.
Shit all over
Here's us
stuff.
shitting on 2 of the 3 comics we're talking about. No, I want to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really good fun stuff in that book. In that issue. Thank you. All right, next up, we got Deadpool.
Excuse me.
Deadpool cough. Wolverine. Deadpool Wolverine #1, written by Benjamin Percy, with art by dude. Does Benjamin Percy just fucking write everything for them?
He might.
The art is done by Joshua Cassara.
Art's great.
Color artist Guru FX. Letterer is VC's Joe Sabino. Cover artist Joshua Cassara and Guru EFX. The cover is amazing.
The art is great. Okay, the guy knows how to draw violence.
So, Deadpool Wolverine #1. I made a joke about this last week because you brought it over, and I hadn't had a chance to read it yet. But I joked, like, wait, that movie came out in July, hit Disney Plus November. Why is this coming out in January? Well, it has nothing to do with the movie, to be clear.
No, it doesn't.
It's fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Very gory. Kind of a little bit surprised how gory it is. But, no, I really dug it a lot. What did you think of it?
It's I mean, clearly there's a story going on. But, Maverick, I love the whole sequence with the dude and the fucking teeth.
I want to talk about that. So
funny.
How can you not enjoy this series where it literally starts off with Deadpool
He's got to get these guys' teeth.
A funeral because this dude has adamantium teeth. And he breaks out of the funeral with the body, goes around a cliff, and sees a helicopter of his family and spins out, launches the dead body into the helicopter. Its blood and guts splatter everywhere, crashes their helicopter, and he's
it's just like Shatterstar in Deadpool 2. Okay?
And then he's holding the teeth, and it's like, that is one of the... Okay.
It's just a fun sequence.
Deadpool is at his best when his violence and everything about him is like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Because that is the wackiest, Looney Tooniest, most goriest shit I've ever seen.
It's funny as hell. And then
because if it's not funny, it's just kind of gross. But the fact that they launched this fucking mobster old man's body into this fucking helicopter.
But then he suddenly just goes funky.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the light hits the teeth or something, right?
Well,
and
no,
the glare off the
it's
teeth.
the nanites. We learn later.
Yeah. But the nanites.
We don't know. No, I
don't know where
just,
the nanites are coming from.
Right. So then we
cuts to Wolverine.
Yeah, we go to Wolverine.
Up a bar fight.
And to be honest, hey, did you see X-Men the movie? You know that whole sequence? This is it. Same thing.
Or Deadpool Wolverine, funny enough.
Sure.
He finds him in a bar, kind of like this.
No, but somebody's fucking with a mutie.
He says,
and
"You're a fucking
and
mutie."
Wolverine's all like, oh, take it. But it's still awesome because it's still cool. And the art is great.
Oh, I love this. He ain't the only one who's got away with metal as he like pops his claws. So yeah, there's a bar
Deadpool
fight.
shows up and he's like, "We gotta go," and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Also, he's like, my favorite thing is they're in this plane, and he's like, "Yeah, usually he won't shut up, but he's super quiet and calculated. It's weird." So yeah, Wolverine knows what's up, and they have a little argument. The best part is they have a fight, and he's like, the plane's hold is packed with C4. We will impact in 2 minutes. He's like, that ain't happening. He's like, we do not have time to discuss it. Just shoots Wolverine's face.
Like a million times.
Shoots him a bunch and says...
Kicks him out of the fucking helicopter without a parachute.
I love that they've done this in the comics before, but they really highlight it in the movie. And then I think what's great about this series already is like, let's have fun with the fact that these two hate each other. Like, they're friends, but there's always this like adversarial relationship.
Well, they both know that they can survive anything.
Exactly, and they take joy in killing each other because they know they won't actually die.
So he kicks him out of the plane,
shoots him to death, kicks him out of the plane, goes, see you on the other side,
and then jumps out with a parachute.
Yeah,
and then this is my favorite.
Oh, I love it. Showing the 3 panels of a body full of bullets as his jaw and his eyeballs are coming back, and he's like,
well, he's just paced in the first one, and then the second one he's sort of human.
Body full of bullets, fall from a few thousand feet, healing factor's getting a workout. I even tried to be patient with Wade, and it had to cost me and shit knows how many others. And it's now he's back. Yeah. But I always love it. Excuse me. I always love it when they take time to show his healing factor. Yeah. It's always fun. So they go to this corpse and they go to this cemetery and try and dig up this grave, and it leads to this secret thing, and that's when Wolverine.
I love how he pokes his eye out, like just carves his fucking eye out.
Give me a hand, would you? And then he literally guts him.
Well, he figures out that something's wrong with Wade, so he guts his head.
Yeah, his middle claw, and he pokes his eyeball out.
He seems to fix it for a little bit, but we learn later in the book that didn't quite do it. Well, and there's another fucking gigantic X-Books fucking checklist. Jesus Christ.
So they go in the armory and they find these cool little armor things as Wade.
Well, that's from Maverick. He was he was another Liefeld Jim Lee character. Yeah. Hey, he looks cool, but there's no substance to him. He's a product of the Weapon H program. It was called Weapon H, not Weapon X, you fucking douchebag.
So can we talk about, real quick?
Yeah.
We talk about, this is what happens with Wolverine. Because Wolverine Weapon X was such a cool, interesting concept. of like explaining how Wolverine gets his claws.
Right.
But because comics are comics, right? They couldn't help themselves. So as while I love Deadpool is an example of like, well, Deadpool's at that thing too, and that.
So is Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
So
to explain Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike and all them having the healing factor of Wolverine, it was because they were part of the project at Weapon X too, and it's just
which makes no sense because Wolverine came into the project. I can't believe we're having this argument. We're going to.
No.
Wolverine came into the project with the healing factor. So all of these other characters being through there doesn't mean they automatically get a healing factor.
It was his DNA.
Oh.
Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure Wade got
probably
his
with
DNA.
the retcon. I don't know about that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Well, now it's technically known as the Weapon Plus program.
Who fuck it? But that's my point.
That way they can do like
Maverick
Weapon 11.
Maverick is an example.
Well, because at one point in the history, Weapon X is revealed as actually meaning Weapon 10.
Oh my god. Yes, and they had like they had an X1 because it was
there was an
11.
X11 and that was really cool because it was like this crazy powerful mutant anyway.
So when Deadpool
But Maverick is one of these dumbass hey, he looks neat, but
when Deadpool puts the armor on, that's when he gets brain controlled again to work for Executioner.
Yeah.
And eliminate the interlopers.
Dude, Executioner's song is such a dumbass like fucking crossover, and I don't even know what they're talking about.
One of my favorite things about this.
But I love that they're bringing back the '90s shit to be like whatever.
Just kind of mock it because I love this where it's like, wait, right there, and he's like Logan. He's like, I know that voice. Fucking Maverick. Like that response made me laugh.
Yeah.
Like fucking Maverick. But yeah, so Deadpool takes off and leaves, and the issue ends with him kneeling before his master Strife on the moon.
Now this is interesting.
Not the moon or wherever the fuck Strife is.
No, this is interesting because
the Badlands. Sorry, in South Dakota.
What does the next one look like? The next cover?
Oh, the next cover.
Because there's something that looks cool.
It's a big old wiener. Oh yeah, it looks like they're in the Savage Land, where they're fighting a giant
See,
T-Rex.
this is. I don't know if this is an ongoing series.
It is.
I don't. Okay.
It is. They're saying it is ongoing.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to keep following it. I do like it, but I mean,
I'd
it's
probably read
expensive.
like a trade. Yeah.
So what I might do is probably read maybe the first arc. But it's definitely something that interests me, and this is what you do: is you go, okay, you know what? We're gonna give you exactly what you fucking think this book is gonna be.
Crazy, violent, crazy, over the top.
But there's also a story, which doesn't really mean that much, but
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It gave me what. It's
big fan of Deadpool and Wolverine.
It does what issue number 1 does. Keeps you interested. But yeah, I agree with you. It's probably something I wouldn't read monthly or anything like that. It'd probably be something I'd read as like a trade. But that's about it.
To me, having ongoing team up book just doesn't make any sense. And at some point,
it should just be miniseries.
Either the writers, either the creators or the readers are going to go, I'm done with this. Speaking of
let's talk about
something that we're done with.
Something that's pointless and we're done with. I'm sorry. No, I don't disrespect the people that worked on it, but I talk about a book that made me feel just meh. I don't want to be Infinity Watch number 1. I don't want to be mean. I just did not care for this book. I just didn't. Infinity Watch number 1 to me talks again what we've always been talking about. What is the point of this?
I want to tell you a little bit about. Okay, so when I was younger, it was probably when I was 12, 13, 14. There was this book that came out called the Thanos something. Thanos Imperative. I can't remember. But it was a 2-issue series written by Jim Starlin and illustrated by Ron Lim. And it was Thanos' quest to get the Infinity Stones. That's what they were called. And they were all the same color. And then that's when they started revealing that they were different ones. And, like Adam Warlock had one and the elders, it's a great fucking book. And the way he takes them from all the elders is awesome. He basically makes them his bitches. And it's great. And then that led into, I was reading Silver Surfer, and that led into Infinity Gauntlet, which was one of the cooler, for the first couple issues, one of the cooler. And then at some point Nebula gets the gauntlet, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? And then there's Infinity War, and then there's Infinity Crusade. point of all this is to say
Wow.
that
Profound.
Infinity Watch, when I saw it, I was like, okay. When the Infinity Gauntlet got over, Infinity Watch was a thing. They finally brought back Adam Warlock because they've been teasing it for a long time. Sorry.
I remember that. Can I just point something out?
And all of these characters, each one had a stone. And the really funny part is Pip the Troll is one of the members of the Infinity Watch, the original one. And one of the big jokes is that everybody has it somewhere. Adam puts his back on his forehead. Drax the Destroyer, because he's a big dumb idiot, eats his. And then everybody's like, where did you put yours, Pip? And he's like, ain't telling.
Up his butt.
Well, for a while, it's a big secret in the comics, and then it is revealed that, yeah, he shoved it up his butt.
Are you serious? I was just joking.
No, Pip the Troll rules, man. He's a fucking great character. But anyway.
That's what I would have done. Shove it right up there.
It was an okay series. The art was by this guy named Angel Medina. I don't know if he still works in comic books, but he only
Sounds
did like
familiar.
He only did like 1 or 2 issues before he stopped, and like I don't know if he just never did anything.
Yeah.
But
So can I just talk about this real quick?
that's why I bought this, because I was like, okay, cool, maybe we'll see what's going on, especially way after the movie version of the Infinity War. Right, we're talking 30 years. Let's see. And I just got to tell you, fucking boo, dude. Fucking boo. From the first, is this the first page? What's the first page?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking boo. Already. Fuck off. I should have opened it and been like, you know what was cooler to me than the first page? This ad for a record that I'm never going to fucking buy.
Time out.
I would buy that for wall art.
Time out. Funny enough, I did the same fucking thing.
Aren't those cool?
When I opened this book, I looked at the vinyls because I'm like, because I was going to ask you about like, oh yeah, didn't you tell me about this? Because they used to have the records back in the day for the comic.
Yeah.
That you play the music when you're reading the comic and whatever. But that made me laugh too because I said the same thing. But no, so you open the title page and this is what made me laugh. And I told you this before I even read it. So we have the stones, but we're digging deep in the Marvel catalog for these characters.
Boy, howdy.
Star, familiar? No. Reality Stone. Multitude, do you know him? No. Soul Stone. Colleen Wing? No.
I know her. Yeah, she was
Mind Stone.
She was in Iron Fist, dude.
I didn't watch that show.
She was in Defenders.
I don't fucking remember.
She's Misty.
Overtime? Who the
she's
fuck
Misty
is Overtime?
Knights. She's Misty Knight's best friend. Okay.
Who's Overtime?
I don't know. But Colleen Wing is
Quantum?
well known in the Marvel Universe. None of the rest of them are.
Quantum? Apex?
No.
And Phil Coulson as the Death Stone, which they added to this, right? Because that wasn't in the MCU.
No, it wasn't. So why are you adding stones, you fuck twits?
And look, I know that the Infinity Stones and Thanos or Infinity Stones and all this happened before what Jeff Johns did with the color spectrum for the power rings. But this, what they're doing right here, feels like a lamer version of what they were doing with Green Lantern.
Right.
And I only say that because it just it just reminds me of that, of like, okay, well, you're the Green Lantern, so you got willpower, and you're the Blue Lantern, so you can do that,
What bugs me about it is that in the original Infinity Watch, they weren't able to like use the stones. Okay, they weren't. And yet these, according to this, they're the embodiment of each stone. They're the physical representation of each stone. So they have the power.
Coulson is literally the Grim Reaper.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What a silly... What was that?
The art is just... I just don't like...
his lapel is a skull.
I just don't really dig on the art. And then we get...
Eddie Brock Carnage in there. I don't have much to say about it because I didn't... It's just wasn't much to it for
I read
me.
the book, and what it is they go and try and... They're supposed to be a team, and they don't know how to work together, and they go and start fighting these guys.
Never heard of that idea.
They go and start fighting these guys. They're fighting each other. They're fighting against, their will or whatever, and then they finally all connect into whatever. Into, like, the infinity, whatever the fuck they're supposed to be. Right here. Yeah. They connect.
And they become the...
Yeah, but they do it because the other guys want to steal it from them. There's that bullshit.
Power Man Timeless.
Oh, gee, is that the Hulk in there or whatever?
Oh, yeah, shit.
Oh.
I was wrong. It was Sentry, Iron Fist, and the Hulk into Luke Cage.
The Hulk and Power Man are the same fucking powers. Anyway. But the next page, basically the bad guys were trying to steal their shit. And they had to let them, whatever. So it was all a ploy.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. They got a guy with them.
Oh,
and
and this guy was with him. He's
whatever.
a Star Slayer.
Sure.
It turns out he's like, I need your help.
Yeah, well, if you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to take it.
And I already fucking
killed
her.
You
already did.
It's fucking great. And then what do we got in the last page for next issue? Phil Coulson has become death. Hey, so I figured it out. You remember the Defenders?
The show?
The comic book.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how great that was?
How fun
and
that
how
was,
each
yeah.
one kind of focused on a character in the Defenders in such a way that it furthered the story, but also kind of whatever. This dumb shit is trying to tell each of us how each of the Infinity Stone bearers figure out their Infinity Stone. You get it?
Yeah.
So whoever's was number 1, number 2 is going to be Phil and Death. Okay. Number 3 is going to be blue and whatever. Number 4 is going to be red and fucking who gives a shit. The point is it's a poorly done book, I think.
I do want
Not to denigrate anybody who worked on it. I know you did your best, but I just don't think it's necessary.
It just was not vibing with me. It just feels like, again, it was mandated. There's some of it that there's just some works out there, and I'm gonna be honest, that just you can clearly tell it. Like, hey, the people that worked on this had to do it because Marvel made them do it.
And can we also?
There's nothing wrong with them getting a paycheck.
No, absolutely not. And can we just say I don't have to buy it, right?
No.
But also, I'm fucking tired of the variant covers. Will you fucking knock it off already? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, that's been a problem for a while.
I went into a comic book once, and they had a fucking comic book, and it was 75th anniversary Avengers, and it was all Disney characters dressed as Avengers.
Oh yeah.
The same day, Spider-Man, like number 1 or number 75, whatever, came out, and it was a double-sided, whatever. I'm not paying attention, right? If you look at the back of these variant type covers, it'll tell you what book it actually is.
Yeah.
But I think that's fucking shitty to put a different title because the Avengers 75th anniversary with all the Disney characters, what if Mickey and whatever were the Avengers, is the Spider-Man book that I bought with a different cover.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of these issues of the same issue, and one's got a stupid ass Mickey as Captain America cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knock that shit
Oh,
off.
and
That's not cool.
that would annoy me if I was someone that still bought floppies. Like if I were to try and be, oh shit, there's only one left, and it's this fucking Mickey Mouse cover.
Yeah, or it's
Oh,
the
like what if it's like a climactic fucking issue and it's Bugs Bunny as Batman, and you're like, what the hell? Like Absolute Batman number 5, all they have is a Bugs Bunny variant.
Don't forget, man, I tried really hard to get all original covers for the Punisher series, and you know that I got stuck with a couple variants.
I think
there was a couple variants, and the Defenders with that Namor one.
Oh my god, it made me laugh because it's just very small. It just says Defenders number 3.
So that was
that was when Wakanda Forever was coming.
That was a card set back in the 90s by Joe Jusko, and he's a very famous artist who's done a lot of. He's very famous like Alex Ross because he does very realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's supposed to be. It's not because it's dumb. Yeah. But
it's like that
was the variation. Is they put a bunch of those cards. They reprinted them as covers that month or that year.
It looked cool, but it's just weird for that book.
I was so mad because Javier Rodriguez's covers were so fucking gorgeous, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Wow. Do you have a long box per se?
I think we kind of did our long box. Although, if you want me to,
There's something. Well, I'm just saying.
Yes,
in
I
general,
do.
this is a more relaxed episode.
Yes,
is there
I
anything
do.
you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yes, I do. I
Sure.
went to Dungeons Gate up in Ankeny.
What's Dungeons Gate?
It's a comic book place, and they have book clubs and stuff. And the book club that I was going to downtown Des Moines is kind of in flux. they didn't have a December one, and then they haven't had a January one yet. So my therapist told me about this other place, and I went up there, and they have graphic novel book clubs, and I bought this one for the February called Dawn Runner, and it's Ram V and Evan Cagle.
Oh, dude, Ram V is pretty. He did some Venom. He did Venom, I think, for a while.
Okay,
What?
it's a 5-issue series.
I don't know. I kind of liked what he was doing with Venom.
It's a mech series.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It's basically Pacific Rim in like the far future.
I'm kind of into this. Okay, you're selling me. As disinterested as you sound, I'm kind of sold. Did you buy it?
Look, if you're gonna, yeah, I bought it because
I'll read it.
we'll go into the. I forgot to bring it. We'll go into the. I mean, I'm going to the book club.
We need to talk about this off the air.
Here's the only thing I had
About
an
this
issue
too.
with it. I recommend it because the art is really beautiful and
Yeah.
the story is. You're trying to get me interested in this story because there's all these unknowns and what's really going on throughout the 4 issues. And then in the 5th issue, you literally go, hey, you know all that shit that I was baiting you with has nothing to do with what's really going on. And in fact, waste your time because we're not even going to mention it in the 5th issue. Ha 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 ha!
Wow.
Also, the mech design was fucking horrible, okay? I don't even know if you're going to give me a mech with action fucking sequences, I need to know where the fucking head is at so I can actually make it out.
Yeah.
The head was this tiny little fucking triangle on this enormous body where the legs are way bigger than the arms. Why? I'm just saying, for my first graphic novel book club, I kind of picked a stinker. I didn't dig on it. It just, again, you're setting me up for all this stuff. I can't wait till the last issue because, you know, I'm leaning, like, this is the kind of book where you're done shitting. You've already wiped your ass, but you're sitting there on the floor of your bathroom because you can't stop reading it and you don't want hemorrhoids. So you're like, I'm going to wipe and sit down.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's how good it is. And then issue 5 comes along and, hey, Tyler.
Oh.
Ow, why'd you slap me in the face? Because all that shit you were reading about that was like supposed to be like this big mystery, guess what? Nothing to do with anything in the book at all. In fact, we're not even going to mention any of that shit in the 5th issue. There is no closure whatsoever. Enjoy.
It's an ongoing series, right?
I don't know. As far as I could tell, it was 5 issues. It didn't say volume 1. It didn't say to be continued.
It's just one book with.
As far as I know, it
Yeah.
looks like a collected of 5 issues. And I'm sorry to be so harsh, but I'm serious. I'll let you read it, and you tell me the same thing,
Yeah.
dude. You'll be sitting there, and I'm sorry. I hope that you get a way different experience. I hope that you see in the issue 5 whatever the fuck they were trying to do in issue 1 through 4, because I didn't. In fact, it looked like a big old this to me, dude. A big old middle finger to me. Like, hey, all those 4 issues you spent your life reading, it's fucking a waste of your time.
Give me that time. I want that tasty time.
I'm sorry to be so angry about it. I'm sorry, but
it's okay.
I really devoured it. I was like, wow, this is really,
Yeah.
really great. And then just let down, dude. Just I don't want to say anything more than that.
So there's another book
yeah.
that I'm reading right now. Well, there's a couple, but the one that I'm trying to get through right now,
So mad I spit.
gonna finish right now is it's called Far Sector.
Yeah.
And it is DC Young Animal book,
Okay.
which is I need to read Bug because you gave that to me to read.
It's anything all red is great, dude.
So DC Young Animal is an imprint that is curated by Gerard Way.
Yeah.
And this is a DC Young Animal book. So it is not tied to the main DC canon, but it is using a Green Lantern. But she is not. So what's interesting about it is it's set in a sector that is like on the far reaches of the universe that like the lanterns are just starting to go out there.
Yeah.
And she's like the first human that's on this planet in this city. And like it is what's so good about it is it's N.K. Jemisin, I think is the name, and Jamal Campbell is the artist.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so good at world building that it makes like the city enduring and the whole setting that she is in just makes sense. And this is a 12-issue miniseries, so like this is it. Like the book that I'm reading is it, and I love that about it. It's a totally original Green Lantern that they made for this.
Yeah,
but
we need more.
But she's a unique Green Lantern because she doesn't have a power battery.
Huh.
And she also has like limited power. So like what she has is what she has. But it's like almost like she created the ring. It's kind of weird. So I'm sure as the series goes on, I'll find out more. I think I'm like 4 or 5 issues into the 12-issue series. I dig it a lot. I think...
I'm sorry I got such a hot take, like bullshit, like on that
No, it's fine.
book. Sorry.
No, but I...
That was really Stephen A. Smith of me, like... It really was. It was like, why are you so unnecessarily upset? Okay, go on.
But what I like about this book is it is very loosely tied to DC in Green. It's still a Green Lantern book, but it's still very much its own thing. And I really like it about it. But there are a couple times when, like, between issues, there's like, I've always said this. Green Lantern is best when it's treated like a police procedural.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this because I do have the collected Grant Morrison Green Lantern, the Green Lantern. But I love it when they treat it...
The Ohio State.
Yeah. I wonder if they're winning. I don't know. We're recording when that's happening.
I fucking hate Ohio State. Should I look it up?
No. We'll look at it later. We're almost done. We're almost done.
We're almost done, Dad.
May I take your order?
Hey.
I'll have a large fry.
Okay, Mr. Simpson.
But yeah, I've always thought that it's really fun when they treat it like, that they are the space cops. So there are a couple times there's like mission reports that she sends to OA and stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like that. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to finish it and talk about it once I'm done. But yeah, what I'm reading is fun. I did finish up the Hussein Dugan run of Deadpool, and I gotta say, I really was kind of underwhelmed because it was just set up for Secret Wars 2.
Can you hand me the Infinity Watch book really quick while you're talking?
Because at the end of it, he just dies again. I'm like, do we always just kill him and bring him back like every other character? Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, but it was still entertaining, and still I think that was responsible for a lot of depth that was added to Deadpool that I think got added to the movies. So I'm thankful for that run, and there's some really good stuff in that run, but the ending was just kind of like, whatever. I feel like there could have been more to it, but it is what it is, But overall, we've been reading a lot of comics. We'll talk off the air. We're gonna
Charles Soule
is doing the Carnage, Eddie Brock Carnage. Part of me wants to read number 1
done?
just so I can fucking tear it apart.
February 2025.
Oh boy,
Can we read it?
I'm not one. I get my money once, and by mine I mean yours. You pay for it. I'm not
I was
buying
just
it.
gonna say you haven't bought a fucking.
Hey, I bought Moon Man. We're gonna review.
Here's the thing that I will say. That I go into the comic book place, even if we didn't do a podcast that had to do with comic books, I would at different points go in and look at comic books. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never ever, until you just said it. So good job. I've never ever looked at it as just me buying all the comic books. But now that you've said that, you owe me some money, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit.
No.
I'm gonna end the show.
Oh, go for it. I don't want to keep doing this shit.
No, we'll talk off the air, but what we want to do. I kind of do. It's funny you brought up a graphic novel book club because I do want to kind of do that. We touched on doing that with this show, and I kind of want to get back to that. So I don't want to say next.
It's been fun talking comics.
Yeah, so maybe not next week, but I want to say episode 188. We're gonna do Kid Cudi's book, Moon Man. Because I have the collected... I have the first 5 issues,
we
volume 1.
should have at least Wonder Woman next week.
So it'll give me time to finish it and
Absolutely.
then give it to you to read.
You need to watch fucking Skeleton Crew. It's done.
It's done now, yeah. I do need to watch that.
It's really good. Highly recommended it.
And then I want to get into We Only Find Them When They're Dead.
We only find them when they're dead. Do you have all 3 or did I?
I do have all 3.
Okay,
but
good.
we don't have to do all 3 in the following, like, every week. Like, we can split it up. But I do want to do volume 1 of that soon. At some point, I've been talking about that for a while.
I think what we should do is
and we'll discuss this.
take our time and
Off
do
the air.
one when yeah right.
And we'll but not next.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't think the listeners want to see my fucking
Hey,
Rolodex?
Hey.
I'm
Next
getting out-
week.
I'm getting on my Rolodex.
Not next week, but the week after.
Here's my calendar.
Listen, number 188 is when we'll do Moon Man because that'll be right before Captain America.
Ooh.
So we can squeeze that in right before Captain
my
America.
pants are tight.
Me-
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.